welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. My name is Josie. I like to read a lot. I read a lot of different genres, and right now I've been reading a lot of manga, so I wanted to go over one of my favorite mangakas, one of my favorite creators, Junji Ito. I have all of his English releases right now. I know that previous publishers have published earlier works of his like a while back, but I have almost all of his most recent releases, and I just wanted to talk about them because I really do enjoy his work. So first, since I have so many, I'm going to talk about the big three that everybody pretty much knows. Everybody, if you've heard of Junji Ito, or if you're first starting to get into his work, I would probably recommend these because these are like his most known works. Well, these are the first ones that I was introduced to. So first we have Gyo. These are the deluxe editions, I believe, by Viz Media that they came out with. They're really nice. Gyo. This one is the main story, the biggest story in this one is about these creatures, these like, I'm not sure if they're parasites or if they're machines, but they attach themselves to living things like fish, for example, and they're kind of like spider machines, and they attach themselves to fish, and eventually the fish die because they go onto land, so it smells really bad. And I feel like the way that Junji Ito draws his work, and this is the way that he just puts everything together, you can kind of imagine the smell of it. And I really hate the smell of fish. Like if we go through the grocery store, I really hate that smell. So this story just creeped me out, and just I loved it though. I thought it was a really good story. But essentially it's these parasites, they attach to living things. In this case they attach to fish, and they come on land and they just terrorize the community. They do attach themselves to sharks. I'm trying to find where you can see the shark. I don't know if that's a spoiler. I kind of hope it's not. Here, I'm gonna show you this one. This is how you see how they're kind of like spider-like, but they're also made out of metal. The living things eventually die on them because they're on them for so long, and they just start to smell. So this one, I really do like this one. I feel like not enough people talk about this one. Oh, here's the shark. I just passed it. Here it goes. I feel like not enough people talk about this one, but this one is definitely one of his more unsettling ones. I can really imagine everything that goes on in this one. So this is Gyo. And then we have, of course, Tomie. Again, these are just really beautiful editions, like very, very beautiful. So Tomie is about this girl who everyone thinks is really beautiful, and they're all like, men tend to get really obsessed with her, and they get obsessed to the point where they want to kill her. And once they kill her, they usually like feel bad and they try to cover their tracks, but there's something, you know, about her that makes her keep coming back. I will put a spoiler alert because I'm going to be talking about these, so of course I'm probably going to put a spoiler alert. But she ends up coming back to life, and she comes back to life each time. But Tomie is also really manipulative in a way, because she does like the fact that these men obsess over her, but of course she doesn't want to die every single time that they do, you know, try to come for her. I feel like this is one of his more famous works. A lot of people know about Tomie. I really do like it though. It's kind of sad because, you know, they kill her every single time, but she does come back, and it's a pretty good story, I think. Really do like his art style in this book. So that's Tomie. And then we have Uzumaki. This one is about, it's literally on there, spiral into horror. I guess Junji Ito has a thing with spirals, and he thinks that they're really creepy. He's like, hey, let me create a story about spirals. And it's in this town where, you know, spirals kind of start showing up in random places, and there's an artist who does works with spirals, and eventually the whole town kind of becomes a spiral. And I don't know, I never really thought that I would find spirals creepy. They're not, this is not like a creepy a scary story, but it is kind of unsettling. I also think it's just really interesting, and I feel like having to draw, if you can see here, all of these spirals like over and over and over and over, that has to take a lot of work. That has to take a lot of work and a lot of dedication, and it's just, I really do like this one. You see how detailed that is? How much work, how many hours she probably put into that. I mean, it looks really cool. This one's a really interesting story. Again, I feel like if you've seen the girl with the spiral like on her head, on her eye, that's what this story about. It's a really interesting story, and these are all really good additions, and I really think they were worth collecting because they look really nice. So these are the top 3 that everybody knows about, and then I'm gonna get into the smaller ones. So we have, these are all of his short story collections by him that Viz Media came out with. So we have Smashed, Frankenstein, Lovesickness, which was his most recent one that came out, and Shiver. I don't know what order they came out with, so I'm just gonna kind of talk about them in the order that I got them in. So first we're gonna go over Shiver. I like the color scheme of these. They're really nice. I think they're really nice publications. These kind of have a lot of different short stories in them. They kind of match up with what the title is. Lovesickness and Frankenstein. Lovesickness is actually the main storyline in that short story collection, and Frankenstein is the main story in that collection. So let me see. These, I like these short stories. Really, I like anything by Junji Ito. I can't really say anything bad about him. Yeah, Shiver. Okay, so Shiver is, here's Shiver. Shiver is one of the stories, and I guess that's what they used as the title. It also adds, let me add that in there. They also have a commentary in these. He adds commentary after or before, no, after each of the short stories, saying like kind of how he came up with it, what was his inspiration for it, how he feels about it. And I think that's really cool. I think it, and it also adds like his little notes and drawings for it. I think that adds a really cool element to the short stories. It kind of lets us see who he is as a creator and see what his thought process is. And with this stuff, I mean, it's really interesting to read how he, you know, feels about his own work. So my favorite story in this one is probably Hanging Blimp. Basically, this one is about these people commit, you know, trigger warning, suicide. They commit suicide and they come back as like blimps. Their heads become really large and they're like being hung from nooses and stuff like that, but they're huge blimps. It's really unsettling. I don't think I've ever seen a concept like this done before. So that one's probably my favorite one in this short story collection. And then we have Smashed. I like the orange. My favorite in this one would have to be Soichi. I'm pretty sure you guys know who Soichi is. This is his as an adult. But the main one, like you see Soichi is the boy with like the white, it's not a headband necessarily, but it's like a white band and then 2 candles, and he also has nails in his mouth all the time, and he's just really mischievous and plays a lot of pranks, but the pranks aren't funny. They're just really unsettling and dangerous. So, but I really do like Soichi as a character. I think he's a really cool character. So that's my favorite story. This one follows, it's called The Mystery of the Haunted House, Soichi's version. So it basically follows Soichi as an adult, and he runs this like haunted house that has real people as the corpses and stuff like that. He's like torturing people and stuff like that. So that's probably my favorite one in this short story collection. And then we have Frankenstein. I believe Junji Ito won an award for this one, and I thought Frankenstein was good. I haven't read the actual, like, the original story of Frankenstein, but this made it interesting. It wasn't something that I was like, I picked it up because it's Junji Ito. My favorite in this one, I actually kind of like all of these. Oh, the Neck Spectre is really cool. Frankenstein was really good. I liked Frankenstein. It's a really big chunk of this short story collection, and the ending of it kind of made me sad. It's this much of it is Frankenstein. That's just all Frankenstein, but I thought it was really good. I liked the way that he drew Frankenstein. I liked his take on it. Let me see if I can show you. That's how he drew Frankenstein, and he looks really creepy, really grotesque, but I really did enjoy this story. Other than that, the other short story that I liked in this one was Neck Spectre. It was basically this, you know, kid, Oshikiri. He killed his friend because his friend was getting tall and he wasn't growing, and he was jealous of him, so he killed him. And now he's having hallucinations of like other people growing taller, as in their neck is becoming elongated or their legs are becoming elongated. It's a really interesting story, and I really enjoyed this one. This one I just picked up recently. And then I have his most recent release, which is Lovesickness. This one is all about the beautiful boy at the crossroads. So essentially, a beautiful boy in this town, they are really into fortune telling, and you go, when it's really foggy, you go to a crossroads and you wait for the first person to come, and the first person that comes, you ask them for a fortune telling, and you ask them, like, you know, how is my love life gonna be? Am I gonna get a job? Or will I have children in the future? Stuff like that. And this beautiful boy, he's, you know, supposedly really beautiful, really handsome, and all the girls love him. He tells really negative fortune tellings, and eventually the women that fall in love with him, or they do what he says based on what fortune telling he gives them, they end up committing suicide. And one of the boys, that lives in the town, he's trying to save all of them. It's a really sad story, just because, see, he's kind of ghostly. It is a sad story just because so many of these girls end up killing themselves, and there's like a mass suicide event in there. But it is a really, really interesting story. Other than that one, I would probably say the Strange Hikizuri siblings are my favorite short story collections in here. It's this family of siblings. I believe there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 of them. They're just strange. This is the oldest one, and then it goes to her, to him, to her, to the little boy. Oh wait, I said that wrong. He's the oldest, and then she's the first eldest daughter, the second eldest boy, the second oldest girl, the youngest boy, and the youngest girl. They're just a strange family that like to play really bad tricks on people, and they like to bully this daughter because she's the prettiest one in the family, and they also like to bully the youngest boy because he's not as weird and as eccentric and violent as the rest of them are. I really did like this one. They're kind of hard to like in the beginning just because they're so, I feel like that's done on purpose. They're supposed to be unlikable, but I like them. I'm not sure if that makes sense. They're supposed to be unlikable, but I really did enjoy, you know, learning about their dynamic and just seeing how each of the siblings interact with the other one. So that's Lovesickness. So these are all his little short story collections that they've come out with. So these are also 2 books that are kind of like short stories. This one is Fragments of Horror, I really like the dust jacket for this one. You can't really see it on camera, or maybe you can from the ring light, from the reflection of the ring light. But there's, I'm not really sure how to explain it, but there's like the cover art that you see, and then when you do it on the reflection of the light, you can see like invisible cover art, and it's, that's just really nice. I don't know, that's just really nice. And then when you take off the dust jacket, this one, and there's like a couple others that have the dust jacket. This is how it looks without the dust jacket. It's nice. I don't know, I feel like they went above and beyond for this one. This one was just like, they put a lot of money into, a lot of thought into it, and it's just, oof, it's a good one. It's a good one. It's really nice. Okay, so Fragments of Horror. This one also has different short stories that they put together for this one, and I would have to say my favorite in this one, other than Red, so we can talk about Red Turtleneck. I like Red Turtleneck a lot. I didn't expect to like it a lot. Red Turtleneck, essentially this guy, he meets a like fortune teller, I think is what I remembered, and she's obsessed with necks, and she's like obsessed with heads, and she wants his head, and she chops it off, and he's trying to hold it together, so he has his hands up all the time, and he's trying to hold it together, and that's why he has a red turtleneck now, because all of the blood coming from the, you know, what's it called, the wound, is like soaking, so that's why he has a red turtleneck now. You're gonna have to read it to find out the rest though. Other than Red Turtleneck, I would say my favorite is Dissection John. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, I want to find like a really cool picture of it though. Well, I can't really because, you know, nudity. But this guy is in, there it goes. He's in medical school, and they're doing dissections on cadavers, and he sees a corpse, and he's like, this corpse is really weird, it feels kind of warm. Well, it's not really a corpse, it's a living person, and she was a childhood friend of him who was obsessed with dissecting animals and stuff like that, and he would help her. Well, he wouldn't really help her, he was kind of forced. She forced him to help her with the dissections, and eventually she just wanted to go further than that and wanted to be dissected herself, so she breaks into medical schools and tries to get dissected. So really, I've always thought of this because I wanted to go to medical school, and I knew that they dissected cadavers, and I always wondered like what would happen if one of the cadavers wasn't actually dead, if they were alive. So that new fear unlocked, that confirmed my fear. But it's a really interesting story. I really do enjoy all of the stories. I think out of all of the short story collections, this one is one of my favorite ones, just because each of the stories is super interesting, and it's like a new concept one after the other. So this one is definitely worth picking up. And then we have Venus in the Blind Spot. When you take off the dust jacket in this one, again, it has some really cool art underneath it. It's really, and also the dust jacket itself has more art. It's just the cover without all the words on it. So Venus in the Blind Spot, the main one in this one is that story, I believe. It's the highlight of it, I guess. Oh, it also has a poster, I forgot. It has these color posters in it, and it also explains what the posters are, and it has some color pages like Frankenstein, No Longer Human. It has a lot of color pages in the beginning, which I thought was really cool that they included them. Okay, so in this one, other than Billions Alone, because that one's a really creepy one, it has the human chair in here, and this is also a real life fear that I have, that Junji Ito managed to bring to life. And now I will never sit comfortably in an armchair ever again. But this woman goes to a chair maker and asks to have a chair made for her because she works, you know, in a desk and she needs a really comfortable chair so that she can sit in it for long hours. And he tells her a story about a chair that he inherited, that a man was like obsessed with this woman in power. I don't remember what her husband did or what she did, but he was obsessed with her, so he cut out an opening in the chair and like had sent her the chair, I guess, and was in the chair. And while she was sitting, she was like sitting on top of him essentially, and it's just really creepy, really unsettling. It's not, I'm telling you, I will never sit comfortably in an armchair before, an armchair after this, and it was already something that I worried about, and he just brought it to life like every other fear I had. After these short stories, he kind of has these singular concept books. So this one is Junji Ito's Cat Diary, Yon and Moow. These were his cats, his real life cats. He had these, I think one or either both of them passed away, but it's really cute. He's drawing how, you know, the cats are and how what their personalities are, and he shows a picture. I think it's at the end of it, or is it in the middle? He actually gives a picture. These are the actual pictures of his cats, and it's just how his cats were, like if they liked him and stuff like that, their different personalities. I like how he draws himself, and I like how he draws his wife, and I just like how he brought these, you know, their personalities alive, and it's really cute. It's just a really cute story. It's creepy in a way because of the way he draws, of course, his art style, but it's cute. I like this one. And then we have Romina, which was also one of his recent releases. This one is about space, and there's like a planet that has an eye on it, and they I'm trying to find a good picture. The people on Earth are worried about it. They're like, this planet is eating other planets and stuff like that. Is it gonna do the same thing to Earth? And it's named after this like really popular girl, and they're like, oh well, she's the one that's controlling it, and just a whole bunch of stuff down. I know a lot of people said they didn't like this one. I personally did. It's not one of my favorite ones because it can kind of, it's a little slow in the beginning, in my opinion, but I still think it was like, it's a really good concept. I just don't, like, if you're first trying to get into Junji Ito, I wouldn't recommend this being one of the first ones you pick up. I would pick up one of the other ones that I've mentioned. And then we have Dissolving Classroom. It's about these two siblings. He's a boy, you know, he's popular, he's handsome and stuff like that, but there's just weird stuff that happens around him, and it's usually due to his sister. His sister is just really creepy, and he like apologizes a lot. I remember that was his thing, that he always apologizes, and they're just like, you know, why are you're so weird, why do you apologize so much? It's a really cool story. I really do like it. It's just all about these siblings and like what happens to all of the classrooms that they're in, you know, all the different schools that they go to, and what happens to all of their classmates and things like that. The sister's kind of annoying, but I think she's a good character regardless of that. I think it's still a really cool book. And then finally, our last one of Junji Ito, that a lot of people, I've seen it on TikTok, a lot of people have picked it up for good reason, because it is a good adaptation. This is No Longer Human. The original novel was written by Osamu Dazai, and this is Junji Ito's rendition of it. So that's the cover, and then this is what it is without the dust jacket. Again, when Junji Ito has dust jackets, everything underneath is gonna look awesome. The dust jacket looks awesome, and everything underneath it looks awesome. So a lot of people say, well, forgive me because I haven't done too much research on it, but No Longer Human, the novel, is sort of like an autobiography of his life, and there's a lot of mature content in this one, I would say. But it's supposed to be an autobiography of his life and things that he experienced and how he felt like he was no longer human because of the things that he experienced and because of the things that he went on and did to other people. He ended up committing, like, what is it called? Attempting suicide many times throughout the book. It's definitely a heavier read compared to his other works. However, I think it's really, really good. I'm just gonna show some art. I don't want to spoil anything or show it because it is a little grittier, and it does show a little more like gory. Most of his stories are pretty gory, but this one is like on another level. But I don't know if I should have related to this one as much as I did. I kind of understood because I feel like a lot of what he struggled with was like social anxiety, especially after everything that happened to him, and I was just like, I kind of feel like this. I don't think I should have, but again, this one took me probably like a week to read. I mean, it is a pretty thick book, thick manga, but they usually, like, you know, like Tomie, Uzumaki and all that stuff, I finished it within a couple of hours in a day. This one took me a little longer just because of the content that's in it. Again, if you're first getting into Junji Ito, I wouldn't recommend this one being one of the first ones that you pick up, just because of the themes that go on it. It is just overall a little tougher to get through and to process. So, but it is a really, really good adaptation, and it made me want to eventually pick up the original novel by Osamu Dazai, so eventually I will do that. Overall, I feel like Junji Ito's work is detailed. It's unique because when you see his work, or when you see like things on TikTok or on Instagram, you know, tattoos and clothing done in his, you know, like this, you know that it's Junji Ito, and I think it's really cool. I like his unique art style. I think it's enjoyable. I like creepy stuff. I like horror. I like stuff that's unsettling. So I'm really glad that I found him, and he was actually one of the first mangakas that I started reading from. I'm really excited, really happy that I found him. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say. So as a first time reader, I would probably recommend like Fragments of Horror, Dissolving Classroom. I think that's what it is. Oh my god, I just went over it. Dissolving Classroom. I think that's his like take on, what is it called? Drifting Classroom, because I know that's one of his favorite works by one of his favorite authors and artists, mangakas. But I think that's like his little, you know, way of doing it. Or any of the short story collections would be really good to start with. Or if you're ready, you're like, you know, I already like Junji Ito, I would pick up these. These are they're nice, they're well done, they're really good, really, and I mean, they have the entire collection of like Uzumaki, Tomie, Gyo all in one book. I really do like most omnibuses. I like how they look. So I would just recommend either the short story collections or these to start off with, and then once you know, if you decide you want to read more Junji Ito stuff, then you know, pick up No Longer Human, The Venus in the Blind Spot, Ramina, you know, stuff like that. I'm excited to see more work that he comes out with. I know he's supposed to come out with another, well, they're supposed to come out with another short story collection, I think in the fall. I'm not really sure, don't quote me on that. But yeah, he's one of my favorites, and he's one of the reasons why I kept collecting manga and stuff like that. So thank you so much everybody if you stayed to the end. Thank you so much for watching my video and, you know, just listening to my opinion on one of my favorite creators. I hope you stay to see what else I come out with. Eventually I'm probably gonna do a video over my entire collection because I have picked up quite a bit of manga, and you know, I like looking at those videos, so I was like, I might as well make a video about that too. And I hope you like this video. Subscribe if you want to see some more, and thank you so much for watching. I begin to